Oh, hallelujah. That video will never stop making me giggle on the inside. Alrighty, guys. Welcome to the Baby Brit Happens channel. Super glad to be back. It's been a couple weeks since I was on. We had some shit going down last week that I will definitely be telling you all about tonight. I took a little trip to Massachusetts. And I met some incredible people, one of which is our incredibly special guest tonight. This woman is an absolute cornerstone of the free Karen movement. She has been faithfully standing just about everywhere where she is allowed to be, from Boston to DC. So please give an extremely warm welcome to our good friend, ESTEY. And I don't have any sound effects yet. So woo! Yes, the applause. Oh my God, I'm so glad to get a chance to talk with you a little bit more. But first of all, just welcome. We've got some people here saying hey to you already. Lexus Taillight Teeth.
Hey.
We absolutely love Lexus Taillight Teeth.
I love
Guys, yes, this is my incredible moderator, Nikki. Please, if you have any questions, bust a caps lock for me because I will be far more likely to see it. I'm blind as a bat. So if it's in caps, I am far more likely to see it and pull it up. Nikki says, hello. Hello, Nikki. So, Essie, tell me a little bit about what brought you into the Karen Reed case. I mean, you're local to the area. So what kind of got you hooked?
Well, I kind of always liked Dateline, those type of stories, and then I got into all these podcasts, and the podcast world blew up, and it was actually My Favorite Murder. I don't know if you've heard of that podcast.
I haven't.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was so good, so good. And then they would just like cover all these murder cases happening. And I mean, I think for women, the attraction of murder cases is you want to know and hear about stories of your worst possible scenario that could ever happen in your life. You just want to hear about it so that either you're prepared if it ever happens to you, or like don't do what you hear them doing. So yeah, I got hooked on listening to those type of things. And I did actually hear about the Sandra Birchmore before the Karen Reed.
Right.
And I heard that one on a podcast as well. And I was like, whoa, that's here in this same state too, like a couple of towns over. And the sound of it made it sound like, oh, they figured it out. Like that guy totally did it because he was on tape, like going in and then going out. And I was like, oh, so we'll hear about it on the news soon about this police officer being, arrested. And then the Karen Reed stuff came up, and that was during the pandemic, and we're all kind of hunkered down. And
right.
It was at like the tail end of it. So when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. But then they did another broadcast about it saying that there were police officers inside the house as well, and they were all drunk. And I was like, well, wait a second. What's the likelihood more of like a fight breaking out and somebody accidentally being killed than her backing up into him? Like, it just, even if it was like an accident, you would know.
It just still seems hard to do.
Like, even though if you're like intoxicated, if like you hit something.
Especially with a car like that. Yeah. Right? I mean, Karen's vehicle is it's a swanky SUV, guys. So it is armed to the teeth with safety features. All right, let's say hey to a couple people. Okay. Hey Brandy, first of all, we are super glad to see Brandy always. And Sherry D is one of the most fabulous and faithful supporters of the Brit Happens channel. And she's also a mod on Calling All Beings, if you know who DJ is.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yes.
yes, so
I
she
think
mod
that was my first
show.
show I went on with DJ.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's when I first.
Yes, I was on that panel with you, I think.
Yes, it was a big group. We had John Como on there.
Boozy Beauty,
Yes, Boozy was there.
Reality Check.
Yes, Reality Check was there. Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely guys, be sure to support DJ's show as well, Calling All Beings. He's really big into the Karen Reed case as
Yes.
well. But anyway, so yeah,
Oh
Essie,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like that car would do all kinds of things, A, to prevent you from being hit. It has so many sensors and
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
anti-lock brake system and, tons of things that
Yes.
would prevent it from happening in the first place.
Yes. And you would definitely know. I feel like you would have even heard some like moaning or something, like
Mhm.
or screaming like, oh, oh, Jesus, like something. You
Right.
like it just doesn't make any sense. And so when I heard that, like there was other police officers in the house and they were all drinking, it just common sense to me was that was more likely that something happened inside the house. Maybe it didn't happen on purpose, maybe not, because some police officers are shady when they're trying to cover up things. But
Mhm.
hand to God, that was my reaction when I heard that.
Right.
I
Just
was
seems
just
hard
like,
to believe.
yeah, because it, yeah, that all just, it just all came together. And then I started hearing about Turtle Boy, which I never followed before. I don't know if it was a TikTok thing or Instagram, but one of those social media things that I was just always kind of in.
Right.
Um, and then so I watched one of his YouTube shots and I was like, oh, a Google happened at that time. This is even worse than I thought. Like it just wasn't just an accidental fight. So then I kept hearing on the news about these hearings going on. And so I would follow the hearings, because I never really thought I would even be able to just like go down to a hearing or anything like
Mhm.
that. Like I never was one to, although there was one case that happened here in Boston about a little girl. I forget her name, but I went and attended that because that I was like, I need to see the devil in person. So I
Oh, mhm.
did go to that, but I still felt very weird and awkward. I was like, never done this before. So I did go to the last hearing of Karen's before her trial started and knew, but I didn't know anybody and I didn't know any of the rules or anything either. But as soon as she came out, I was like one of those people, the camera was like, ooh, this person, she's been like framed for murder. I need to get this on film. And like I followed her and and got pictures of her. And I actually ended up on somebody's webpage too of taking pictures of her. I'm in the background. Um, but then the first day of the trial, I went as well. And that's when I didn't know anybody.
Mhm.
And it was my sweet Dina. I like set up my chair and everything. And everybody was telling me, like, hey, you can't go past this. This is like a buffer zone. And I was like, okay. So I sat
Yeah.
in the chair. And yeah, my sweet Dina came over and said and introduced herself and said, "You're more than welcome to come over and hang out." And I was just like, "Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you." And like,
Oh.
yeah, it was just she was so welcoming. She saw me there just sitting there with my own little my phone just watching. Um and yeah, it was just like love at first sight with those guys.
A community
With
was
my
born.
besties. It was. From then on, like I couldn't go to every day of the trial. I had other family priorities to go to, but from that moment it was every YouTube show that I could like ingest and more information because I'll be honest, I still needed to see like what they were going to present, how they were going to like show that she was framed. I mean, from what I knew, it was only one Google search. Like I didn't know all of the players involved at all. So wanted to find out. And so I just listened to the whole trial, um, trying not to be like, set in stone that she's not guilty. I wanted to get all the evidence, see what they all presented. And just the more and more that I listened, I was like, oh my gosh. And especially listening to, oh, what's her podcast? She's amazing. She's also, it's not Melanie Little. It's
Is
that
it
other woman.
Brandy? Brandy
No, not
Churchwell?
Brandy. No.
Okay.
She likes to use the word fuckery. Anybody in the comments and section
Man,
know?
I don't know because I use it. It's not me.
Yes, EDB.
Oh,
Yes,
Emily
Baker.
Baker.
Emily
Yes.
Baker. Because
Love her.
yeah. I was never about like all these chats either. Like I wasn't a person to go into the chats. I was more of like just like I said, I just wanted the knowledge. Like give me all the knowledge, not the
Mhm.
background noise. So I would just like put on Emily Baker and then I would, you know, listen to others when she wasn't there. But the way that Emily Baker went about it, I felt the same exact way that she did, where she was just like, I got questions. I was like,
Yes.
yeah, I do too. Like, what the?
And
Like,
what's really unique about Emily D. Baker's perspective is that she spent her legal career as a prosecutor.
mm,
So she has the unique experience of Lally's side, right?
yeah, yes,
So she's really able to kind of pick apart what he did or didn't do
yeah. And what
and
you need to
say,
then in order to like show that she's guilty because she's innocent until proven guilty. The state needs to prove. And he wasn't really proving much. He was basically telling us all about the snow and the apron and like all that stuff. And then having these police officers that were corrupt try and convince. And then he put the McAlberts on to try to defend them, which now Brennan's
mhm,
going to do the same thing.
same
It's
thing.
just, yeah, it was mind blowing because I mean, there was witnesses on there like Tristan who would go on and be like, I don't recall. I don't
Yeah.
know time. I don't know the time. What time was that? I don't remember the time. What's time? What are clocks? Like he was just
It feels like it's
oh
piercing your brain, right? To just
yes.
hear that complete lack of effort going
Yes.
forward, and to have that, I mean, I've had a couple of cases in my home state of Florida where it's the same thing. It's just embarrassing, when
Yeah.
this is your home and you see this kind of miscarriage of justice, this kind of incompetence, and quite
Mm-hmm.
frankly, the misconduct, the probable planting
Yep.
of evidence. I mean, yeah, it's humiliating to know that's where you live, and it's also frightening to know that that could happen to me or you tomorrow.
Yep. And that's why the residents of Canton, they're trying to let everybody know that. Like, imagine living in a town where you have an emergency and you don't feel like you can call your own local police to
Yeah.
respond and to actually help you because that's what they're feeling right now.
That's a
They
dark place to be.
It is, and that's why they're fighting to build it back and build a safer community where they can feel like they can call in their local police officers and that they'll actually have their back and care about them.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, the government did lie. It is very true, and that's why
Yes.
it's so frustrating to so many of us because we also have been sending out so many letters and emails and it feels like nobody is listening or nobody even cares, and it makes us feel like you're complacent too. Complacent complicit. Ha. Three
Um,
times the charm. Makes
there
us
you
feel
go.
like we're just you're agreeing
Yeah,
with it too, and that gives such a horrible feeling in the pit of your stomach to know that when you are actually like calling to your local government, we are seeing all this. How are you not seeing all this? How are you not doing
absolutely.
something about this? Like you are the people that we are supposed to call on to help us, and you're not doing it.
And not only are you not doing it, but when we call upon you, you respond in a manner that quite frankly, is very condescending
Yep.
in my opinion. For instance, when we started asking questions about Enrique Delgado Garcia, a similar thing, everybody was either asked to cough up, thousands and thousands of dollars to get any information, or they were basically, looked at as second class citizens for even asking.
Yep.
Like we told you what we're going to tell you, and anything further then you're just a nuisance. It's extremely sad.
Yep.
Sherry says it's so frustrating when you feel like people do not listen. Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
I would rather talk to a brick wall.
And that's why these platforms are so important, because it, when you feel like all these letters and emails are not doing anything, it's like, what else can you do? It's like, you still have a voice. They can't shut you,
Certainly.
even if they click delete on that email or just put your letter in another pile. It's, you can still get your voice out and get your point across. And
Absolutely.
that's therapeutic. That helps, even though, all you are really now doing is talking about your frustrations, but that does help. But it's also, you're letting other people know that this is happening. And maybe that
Exactly.
message will get to somebody that actually can help. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, it's
so
about
it's,
awareness, right?
yep,
Because that's the first step in solving any problem. And when you have enough people aware, you eventually will have enough people speaking up against it. And then hopefully, when there's enough voices speaking up against it, someone does finally listen.
yep. And
Oh,
that's
man.
why you just got to keep doing it. I mean, from listening to like people on other shows, when they're fighting for justice for their loved ones that are either still missing or they have not captured the person that killed their loved ones, they're calling that police station daily to be
Mhm.
annoying and obnoxious. And that's just what you got to be. You just got to
Yep.
be annoying and obnoxious until somebody actually takes you serious, or until somebody actually is like, all right, this isn't going away. Like,
Well, what do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
mm-hmm. So that's what we got to keep doing. We got to keep being. I mean, when you first try it, it's just like with a kid. When you ask them to do something politely, nicely at first, and they don't do it, it's like
Mhm.
you got to just then be obnoxious. It's like, hey, I tried the
Yeah,
right way at first, and if it's not going to work out that way, then we've got to try something else. And you might not like how I
absolutely.
do that, but at least my point is going to get across.
Yep.
So,
I tried it nice the first time, and
yep,
the nice way didn't work, so here's the other
yep,
option.
yep, exactly.
Sherry says the squeaky mouse gets the cheese. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Sherry. She says, "So hard to imagine what other families go through." I mean, another
Yeah,
part of why I feel that those families probably call in every day is that, that this is their life. I mean, if my child were missing, or, if we knew what happened uh and they still hadn't apprehended the perpetrator, there would be nothing else I could think about. Like, I
yeah,
couldn't just go on about my day and then follow up with you in a week or 2. I'd be
yep,
calling, every day myself.
yep, exactly.
Ugh.
I mean, this is just a smidget. I mean, this isn't this is nothing personally to me at all, but it makes you think, like, if it was personally to you, the amount of gun ho you would be going. I mean, this is, I wake up every day feeling like, maybe this is practice, or it's getting ahead of it if it did ever happen to a loved one of mine. Because God
And I hope
forbid.
not.
Now, yeah, exactly. Like, God forbid. But it's like, that's the feeling. It's like, this
Mhm.
is knowing the steps, and having the wherewithal of being able to do this if it ever did happen. We're trying to prevent. Oh my God, my brain knows exactly what I want to say, but it's like words.
Oh,
um
no
but yeah,
worries. We are
it's just
a
like,
very casual zone here.
yeah, yeah. And it's yeah, Karen is not a family member of mine, but we're all seeing what's happening and it's
Mhm.
pissing us the fuck off because this should not be happening. And
Certainly.
it's just, yeah, it's kind of consumed all of us, because they keep it's when you the pushback happens too, it makes you just go even harder. Okay, so I'll say this is another example. So when I first made my very first post on X,
Mhm.
which I will advise everyone,
Yeah,
um, in this movement, if you don't have the stomach for it, if you don't have the gall for it, if you don't have I'll even say confidence,
yeah.
because these people will even just go after your looks, which have
Mhm.
nothing to do with this.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but if you are a strong person, and aren't phased very easily, then okay, go on X. But I will advise you, do not. Um,
It's a
for me,
double-edged sword.
it
That's
really
for sure.
it really is. So for me, I first made my post back in, it was right after the trial. I had never been on X before this. Like X had existed to me, Twitter, we'll call it Twitter, existed to me,
Yeah.
but I was never a Twitter fan. I
Me
was
neither.
Instagram. I was on Instagram constantly, and I would go on TikTok here and there. Um, but I made my first post on X, and holy shit, like I got attacked like I have never been attacked before. It was even worse than high school. Like they went after my looks. They just called me crazy. And all it was a video of Boston Mike took of me. We're at the State House.
Mhm.
It was the second standout I did there, but I did my first there solo. And then everybody
Okay.
was like, "Yes, we should be doing State House." And so we got our group together to do the State House standout.
Yeah.
And I had my bullhorn and everything, and I was yelling up to Maura Healy and yada yada yada, and Boston Mike had me on there and took a video of it, and I then posted it onto X, being like, "Maura Healy, we were there. Did you hear us? Like, I cannot believe that you are like not doing anything about this. Your silence is
Sure.
deafening to all of us." I was just giving it to her.
Was this, if I can quickly interrupt and ask, was this before or after the exposure of Proctor? Because I know that really the only thing that she has acknowledged was what Proctor said in
Right.
his
This was
messages,
Right. This was
but
after. This was
this
after.
is
She
after.
did,
Okay.
yeah, she did acknowledge it. She did make that one little comment. But after that, we've never even, heard anything else about it. And that's what pisses us off.
Oh, certainly. I
But
mean, you are the buck stops with her,
mm-hmm.
right? I
So
mean, at the end of the day, all these things fall back on her, and these are all between not just Officer John O'Keefe's investigation, but also the investigation of Sandra Birchmore, Enrique Delgado Garcia, and Just en route. All
mm-hmm.
of these are matters of public interest,
Yep.
and she I mean, I've gotta say, I was pretty upset when I was watching her give the State of the Commonwealth the other night
Same.
because, oh, she just went on about AI initiatives
Yeah. She
and housing
nothing about
projects.
public safety at all, which is
Mm-mm,
number one priority for
certainly.
any commonwealth in any state. Like, you
Mhm.
got to talk about our safety.
Yeah.
But no,
Wasn't even addressed. It was like it didn't exist.
nope, she was just kissing bums and patting herself on the back of things, and then
Mhm.
making these promises that sound so beautiful and wonderful. But yeah, it was very infuriating. But that's what she
Certainly
does.
was.
That's what she does. So yeah, that was my post that I made, and it was Carrie Lama. I'm sure everybody knows that.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Yep. So she posted. I had no idea who she was. Tuesday Gazette. Um,
Mhm.
Hoops McCann or something like that.
Yeah. Haven't seen
Um,
that one in a while, but
Right. I
I
know,
know who
because
you're talking about.
yeah, because they all that same day, they all blocked me. It was like
Well,
because I wasn't backing down and I wasn't like, I had never been talked to like that or had things written like that to me that I just kept going back and forth with them being like, you don't even know me. Like,
yeah.
I'm out here just standing up for something that I truly believe in. What's the problem with that? Like, okay,
Their
you
problem
have a
with that is that
different
they don't
than
have a
me.
valid argument
Exactly.
against it. So they're
Exactly.
going after you personally because that's the tactic of people who don't really have a leg to stand on in reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they were like, oh, why don't you eat a cheeseburger? And
Ugh!
blah, 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 blah. And oh my God, that
Wow.
voice. And yeah, it was just like, how does that have to do anything with Karen Reed being guilty or not guilty? Like, come on. Like, you're just trying to shut me up. And so from that point on, I was like, it's game on. And that's the thing. Like, they're making it up to be like scare tactics and be like, oh, oh my God, I want me to eat a cheeseburger. Like, okay,
So
logging off. I'll go make a cheeseburger and eat it and never go on X again. And fine, I believe
I'll
you
do
guys.
exactly what they say.
Yes, yes. But for me, it
And
was like, oh, wow, this is the other side. Like, okay, I'm curious now. I'm really curious, and I had no idea who Kate Peter was. I
mm,
had no idea who any of these people were. None of them. And so my eyes were open to all of it, but I still got people coming after me and all that. And it's just been wow. Let's just say wow. So when Sue O'Connell made her commentary one night about how the Free Karen Reed movement, we're so evil and horrible with all these rubber duckies and how could they do that and they're intimidating and like saying all these things, and after that I
this
was
scares
like,
you?
right. So when she did that on her channel, and then she had that crazy lady note my objection or whatnot, yeah, and I'll
Oh,
talk
yeah.
girl because when I first watched you on TikTok, I'd watched you even before this. Like I was a fan. I liked her story. She came
Mhm.
from, I mean, she was addicted to crack cocaine or something like that. And then she, you know, got sober, got her law degree because her daddy's one.
Oh,
So he
okay.
helped her out. Um, and now that's what she's doing. So I enjoyed that story. Like,
Yeah, that's
love
definitely a
the
good comeback
underdog.
story.
Yeah, I love a comeback story. And so she started following the story too. And she was like, yeah, this does not seem like she did it. Like, this is wow. Okay. Did you hear this trial? And I was like, cool. Yep. She's on the same page too. And I'll keep listening. And then all of a sudden it was just like one day she was like, here's
She just
guilty.
flipped.
Yeah. And I was
Maybe
like,
someone
who got
said
to
that
you?
she was too skinny, so Karen Reed has to be guilty because she's
Yeah.
skinny. Like,
Yeah. I feel like there was a lot of pushback, and it was probably like another, Kate Peter campaign where she's like, sound the horn, guys, get her. And like they probably just flooded her TikTok comments and was like, how dare you? Da, 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 the family, and all this stuff. And so, just like with Sue O'Connell, she did a flip, and I did some deep diving myself into what
mhm.
could have made Sue do a flip. And I went on to Kate Peter, her channel,
Yeah.
um, and it was Kim Fair was at one of the. It was after the trial. They were having a hearing about it to dismiss the two charges that they found her not guilty for.
Right.
And Kim Fair was there on the other side, and she had her camera. She was live, and all of a sudden she sees Sue, and she's like, "Sue, I really need to speak with you." And Sue was like, oh, sure, I'll have a dialogue and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, Sue, we're really not appreciating that you're not seeing this side on this side. Like, you really need to represent us as well. And you know that Karen's blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay,
Huh.
there we go.
Interesting. Do
That's who
you
made
think
it back to Sue.
do you think maybe because I mean this is typical behavior for them. But
My court
do
date,
you
Dennis. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Dennis. Good to see you, friend. Court date, love that. That is
So
fantastic.
romantic.
It's yeah, I feel like it's warmer to the heart than, like, your work wife or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I have a work wife. I have a real life husband, but I have, like, that work bestie who is totally my work wife um, and all that. But, Kate, from what I've observed, and, I try to stay out of all of that as much as I can until they put it in my face, right?
Yeah.
But it seems to me that it would not be past them to maybe dig up something on Sue,
Mm. Yep.
you know,
Yep.
and maybe put that in
Or
her
just be
face.
like, I feel like they had a moment too, because Kim Fair is very much anti-Trump, and so is Sue.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. So they're aligned politically.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Mhm.
and that is something that is very dear to Sue's heart. Like, she's very democratic, and so is Kim, and I'm sure that you know maybe she saw Kim's page,
Buddy,
or Kim's
buddy.
moment with her. Yeah, so she was more inclined to then have a discussion with her, and probably thought, oh, she seems very smart. She seems like
Mhm.
she knows what she's talking about. Maybe I should listen to this woman. So I do feel like that it might have been, oh, thank you. Um, might
I
have
have the
been when
nicest chat.
you started to then look at the other side. Um,
Mhm.
and then she went on that show and um, started saying how this side is doing these rubber duckies, and why would you do that, and oh my god. And meanwhile, she forgot to mention on the show about all the bleach balloons and the harassment
Mhm.
of the residents that they were getting. Like, why would you not mention that when you're having that discussion of things that are like getting out of hand during this
Yes.
trial? That was a
And
big opportunity for her to be able to say that. But
right, if you're gonna give balanced reporting, as you
mhm,
so claim that you do,
mhm.
um, and might I just add that this isn't going to damage any property, okay, or hurt anybody.
It was ridiculous.
Bleach and other chemicals in water balloons being thrown onto people's properties absolutely will have an effect on, you know, not just their lawn, but animals who may come and nibble on the grass over there or there's a lot of destruction and a lot of harm that can actually come from those kind of chemical water balloons. More
Yes.
than a
And
more than a
on the
rubber ducky.
Sweeney's vegetable garden, and they would pass out those vegetables to their neighbors. I mean, come on.
Dennis, they
Yeah,
did? I hadn't heard
yeah,
about this.
yep.
Oh my
Not just
word.
on their vegetable garden as well.
Ah,
And of course no one's going to hear about it because it's not happening to the McAlberts. It's happening
right.
to the Free Karen Reed supporters. And it's not salacious enough.
Yeah. All
'Cause
all that's
no
happened to them
witnesses.
is so-called emotional damage. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lexus.
Well, thankfully that's all washed. That's all gone. And the world got to see how ridiculous it was, because Rich
Yes,
is now free and
hallelujah.
clear, and we were able to support him as well with the funds, so it's fine. And he also he's good with his money. So, ladies, he's free and clear. He has no charges, and he's single. So there you go.
I
And he's a
posted
sweetheart.
he is. He absolutely is rich, and I posted on there that I hope that he takes, like, either pennies or nickels. He does
Yep.
have, like, $1,000 fine or something that he has to pay, so
Yep.
I
Yep.
posted that I hope he pays it all in, like, pennies or
Yes.
just to
With
kind of
like
have that
little rubber
final
ducky
word.
stickers on the back of it.
Oh, man. Okay, so it was his wallflower and vegetable gardens. Wow.
Yep.
Dennis, we're so sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, we are
But
so sorry. Speaking of, so now we are needing to support another gem in that community. Sergeant Peter Murphy,
Yep.
who
First,
I had.
Whitey. Whitey is a Free Karen Reed supporter as well and a Canton resident. And
Okay.
they were filming, I believe it was John Cuomo filming Chris Albert coming out of the library one night. And sneakily, Chris says, "Yeah, I'll talk to you guys, but turn that camera off and then we can have a conversation." And John was like, "All right, yeah, because that's what we want to do. We want to have a conversation with you. And you know what? We'll do that for you." And so, what happens when they turn the camera off? He goes and cries wolf and says that Whitey accosted him. And so
Oh,
now Whitey caught a charge.
I saw that video too.
Yep.
Before he shut the camera off. It was
Yep.
like what, outside of a select board meeting or something?
Yeah.
Or
And
yeah,
then
I
they
don't.
crossed the library. I don't know. Yeah, don't quote me on that. I know Dennis knows more. But yeah, so that's the first thing that happened. And then the Peter Murphy thing happened, which look what they're doing now. And they are just using the law to scare us all
Mm-hmm.
and going after Peter Murphy because he is a stand-up gentleman. He knows what really happened and he's speaking up about it. And he's showing all the other police officers that you're all cowards. And
He even trained some of
Peter's
them,
not.
didn't he? There
Yep.
there were a couple of Canton PD officers that he was there when they were first coming on as
Yep.
fresh green sergeants, and I mean, I'm sorry, fresh green officers. And Murphy said very clearly, "I know that they know better because I taught them better."
Yep. Yep.
Ah, man. So, guys, for those of you who are not aware, Sergeant Peter Murphy, who, by the way, was so sweet when I had the pleasure of meeting him last week. I spent one night in Boston and got to meet Sergeant Peter Murphy, and I got to meet you in
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
But he was just heart of gold. I mean,
Yep.
1,000 carat gold.
Yes.
Um, so Sergeant Murphy decided, and correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, but this is from his mouth to my ears. So he parked at a church which was
That
close
we've all
to.
parked at plenty of
Yes.
times and
Oh,
many
bless it.
standouts there.
So it had been okay in the past for him to
Yep.
park there for a standout. So he goes from where he's parked to the standout. And as it turned out, they had put up a no trespassing sign, but the sign was no longer physically up. The sign was on the ground. And on top of that, it was covered in snow.
A snowbank. Yeah.
So nobody would have seen that.
Yep.
Nobody would have seen it. And it had been okay in the past for them to park there. So as far as Sergeant Murphy was aware, he was doing everything right.
Yep. And there was
And
a warning. They should have given him a warning. I mean,
precisely.
especially if you know who he is and if the signs are recent as well. Like
Mhm.
you can't just change a sign without giving people notice or just like a first chance. Like walking over to they saw them out there, clearly saw them out there and being like, "Hey, listen up guys, we've got new signs. Like you can't be parking there anymore. So if we see you the next time, you're going to get a ticket."
My
Nothing
goodness.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is the parking ticket, if anything. Kind of like how what happened to Rich, if anything, at all, call it littering. It's not felony witness intimidation.
Yep.
Sergeant Murphy parking there, especially when historically it had been fine, should, if anything at all, be a parking ticket, which it shouldn't even be that. But now
Yep.
he's being charged with trespassing.
Yep. And yeah, I was there for the Canton protest standout on Friday.
Okay.
And it was nothing to do with Karen Reed, nothing to do with any other Turtle Boy or anything like that. This was for Canton. This was to build back their town.
Good.
Which we all had signs that said that. Nothing to do with anything with Karen Reed signs at all. And we got tons of beeps, tons of supporters, but then there would be people that would be like, you don't like your town? Like you don't want to support your town and
You don't
help
want to
your
see your home
build
become
it
a better
back?
place?
Like it would
Right.
just make no sense and be like, okay, whatever. That guy's clearly an idiot. But yeah, so we went inside the police station so Peter could get his papers. And yep, I felt the treatment because when we went in there and I knew I had a long drive back into Boston, I just politely asked, like, hey, do you mind if I use the restroom? And they're like, oh no, it's not available right now. And I was like, it's not available right now. When will it be available? Like, what's wrong with it? Like thinking they would be like, oh, it's clogged or it's indisposed or it's out of order. That's the word, out of order.
Yes.
But be like, oh yeah, no, see, we've got a rope over there. Be like, and I was just like,
Hallelujah.
this is a public building, right? It's a public building.
Which means the restroom is public.
So the restroom is public. I didn't just go there. I asked permission first because I didn't know if you needed a key, a password, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But no, just like, and their reasoning was just, well, there's a rope there. Move the rope then. I gotta go potty.
No kidding. Someone who doesn't like you, put the rope there.
Right. So yes,
boy.
I felt the treatment. And it was like, they're doing it on purpose. It's not like it was all crowds like coming in. You could have just let this one poor lady just use the bathroom. But nope.
So,
but it was very
hopefully
nice.
You ultimately found a place.
Name. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, hopefully you ultimately found a place to relieve yourself.
Yes, I went to one of the supporters, their home that we were at before then. We got to just hang out, shoot the shit. I mean, it's always just so great, like just to hang out with them, like for like a good 2 hours. We were just sitting around, like so many laughs, so many stories, and it was just like that you were just with your best friends, like just kicking it, and it was just great.
And that's how I felt there, just for that handful of hours that I spent in that area.
I know.
It felt like a family reunion almost.
Yes. There wasn't enough time. Like, I need to stop like getting late to places. Like I was late to the standout today. I slept in, like I woke up at 7. Like I usually Monday through Friday, I get up at 5:30 every single day. And today I woke up at 7 and I was like, oh, it's going to be a great day. Like I opened my eyes and saw that it was 7. I was like, oh, nice. I slept till 7. And so I just like laid back down and was like, today's going to be a great day. And I started thinking about it. All of a sudden I open up my eyes again and it's 8:30. I was like, what the hell?
Hey, your body needed it.
Happened? Yeah, I must have just like drifted right off. And so I just got right up, and then Tom CPU messaged me, and like, because I think he thought I was like going to be somewhere else and wanted to do a live stream. But I was like, Tom, I just woke up. I can't talk to anybody right now. I gotta go. So I was just like rushing, and I still ended up getting there late. Yeah, I showed up like 30 minutes late. Kelly and Nathan had just left as well. But it was still great. It was still wonderful. Got to meet everybody. Not meet, but well, there were some new people there. And they were so excited to let us know too. Like, oh, it's my first standout, and I wanted to come to this one. Like, awesome. Like, please come more. And
yeah, everybody's
they're gonna
welcome.
end up being our best friends too. Like, come hang out. And we always bring coffee, Dunkin' Donuts, and sometimes there's celebrations going on. People will bring cake, and they'll bring their kids, their dogs. Oh my God, there were so many dogs today.
I saw a couple.
Yes.
On the streams.
Yes, Lauren had her new puppy, Holly.
Oh,
so little.
What type of dog is she?
I don't even know it. I think it's a mix of like dog names, especially those type. I don't want to get them wrong.
It's all good.
Not bulldog, but like, I don't know. Anybody in the chat know? All I know is freaking adorable. But so
I'm a
tiny.
bulldog person.
But are bulldogs the ones that have like small noses?
They do have short snouts. Um, they're very wrinkly, covered in rolls. If it's an English bulldog,
Okay, so
and
wasn't somebody did have that dog today.
okay,
Um, and then there was a
and
couple
then
left.
Frenchies have the big pointy ears,
Okay, yeah. Um,
and then there's bullies. Bully breeds are kind of a mix. A lot of people get them confused with pit
it was a
bulls.
cutesy patootsy.
A
That's the breed.
cutesy patootsy, a
Yes,
100%
Brandon.
purebred cutesy
Cutesy
patootsy.
patootsy. Yep.
No, no.
Yeah. So tiny, so cute. Like I couldn't stop touching it, and it was probably like, lady,
Oh, how cold
mom.
is it?
What's that?
Um, and how cute. Oh, a pug maybe. Yep, pugs
No,
are kind of in that
it
family.
was definitely one that when it gets bigger, it will be like a big one.
Okay,
But it was a mix, I believe. Um,
interesting. I will go and
yeah, like a
find
mixed
that dog.
boxer. Yes, boxer. That was the word. I
Oh,
keep
a
thinking
boxer.
B. Yeah,
Okay.
began
Yep,
a B.
yep. They're real tall.
Yeah. Um, and then Henry was there, of course. Um, yeah, so many different dogs. And
I
I was just
love
like,
that.
dogs and kids and just energy and love and hugs. It was
That's
just and
fantastic.
sunshine. And oh my God, we were like, some of us didn't have coats on, some of us just had light puffers, and
Uh-huh.
it was an all together and so many beeps, which just
Awesome.
added to the energy as well. And Mike Crawford was there, Tom CPU was there, for the streamers, and then my best friends were there. Dennis
Oh,
Sweeney, Tima, Dina, Brandy was there. Jen Root was there. That's somebody I hope that you'll get on your show.
she was on my
She
show
was.
already. I've had her on. I'll shoot you a link to the stream. It was a really good back and forth.
Yes.
And
I met
she's an
her
amazing
early on.
person.
Like, yeah, oh my gosh. Like, she's been doing this for 5 years fighting for her brother.
I know.
Even though
February
she got,
7th will be 5 years.
yep. Even though she did get bad news recently, it's
Yes.
just makes
So
me.
guys, those of you who don't know, she had sent Justin's case up to the Supreme Court. And of course, that's an extremely expensive feat
Yeah.
as well, getting that far up. Just submitting documents, asking for them to look at it, which, that doesn't even take anybody's time. And she said that oddly enough, they somehow managed that day to go through over 200 cases, which, was it really a person who was looking at it, or was it some kind of AI thing
Yeah.
that they've incorporated? I mean, I have no idea, but they did ultimately decline to hear Justin's case. But the good news, because we like to look on the bright side where and when we can.
Yep.
Because of that, Jen does not have to watch her mouth anymore. So she can say whatever is on her mind
And I'm sure she
about.
had a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's really had to be careful as to what she could share, just because of there being pending litigation.
Yep.
So now she can say whatever the hell she wants. And
Go
so
girl.
yep, and she can always use my platform anytime to say those things. That's for sure.
Yep.
Anytime.
I think
Um
I watched her connect with Mike Crawford today of Young Jerks, and I was like, that needs to happen. Like,
Good.
you
I
need
agree.
one.
I agree. Mike
Yeah.
has a big audience, and she needs to get it out there.
Yes.
Yes, Dennis, a civil suit would be fantastic. I'll have
Yeah.
to ask Jen if she's gone down that avenue.
Yeah. Because she has done this all on her own, basically, and
Mhm.
her own funds, her own money. She puts
Yep.
so much into it. All of the merch that she has is
Mhm.
basically she did on her own. And
And she doesn't profit from it. She just asks for enough to cover the cost and to cover shipping,
yep,
and she doesn't pocket any of it. She's just trying to get the word out there.
yep. It's That's another one that is just oi oi oi. Hi.
Definitely an oi oi
But yeah,
oi.
today was amazing. Shay was there and she was so adorable in her little ducky outfit. And then
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
precious,
So
precious.
cute. We did like a little dance together. Because obviously I always have to dance. Especially when
Yeah.
I start to feel the energy and it's just like
It's
and
a
I
means of
felt it
expression.
so much today. Oh yes, 100%. And I mean that's my expression too. Like that's especially when words don't work or words just don't mean enough for me or can't.
Mhm.
It's just like, okay, this energy needs to go somewhere. So I'm going
Where
to do a
words
quack,
fail,
quack,
music
quack, and a quack,
speaks.
quack, quack.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about, what was it, about 4 or 6 weeks ago, you were standing out for all this in our nation's capital,
Right in
Washington, D.C.
front of the White House. Although when I put it was in front of the White House, somebody had to correct me and say, actually, you were at the back of it. And I was like,
Oh,
yes, technically, I was in the back of the White House and I was not in the front, but you can't get in the front. You can't take pictures in the front. But yeah, so I was at the area where people take pictures, and but I had to be
so
there. Like
was it just you or
just me. So I
just
have
you?
yeah, I have family that live in Northern Virginia. So right after Christmas, we went there to spend some time and spend the holidays there. So I was like, I've got to get in front of the White House, guys. Like I can't. I've been stagnant for a while, especially with like I think it was just the last hearing was the last time that I saw everybody and like actually even like did anything. And so I felt like it was 2 weeks. Oh, I love you. Mwah. I never know how to react to things like that. I'm just like, oh, but still the White House. Um, but yeah, so I was like, I really need to like do something. Like just watching streams and being in chats and things like that. It's like, oh, and so I
Yeah.
was like, family, take me to the White House. So I went to CVS, made up a sign, and didn't bring one on the plane. And yeah, I just went out there by myself. I was going to do a stream with Tom there, but he got either sick or an emergency happened. So Dana and Tracy said I could just go on their stream, and I did a live stream while I was out in front of the White House, and there it was like 70 degrees out. It was beautiful. So many people were
Oh.
out there, so many people, and I was the only one with a sign. Um,
Mhm.
and then everybody else was just kind of like passing by taking pictures. So it was perfect because people would be like, who's this person with a sign? Like, what does this
What's
sign
this about?
say? Who's Karen Reed? And like da, 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 da. And that's what I love. Like I will act silly. I will like be by myself. I will make a fool out of myself. If that brings you to go, what's going on over there? Like what's happening?
Yes.
Like,
Get them
okay, cool, did
inquisitive.
my job. Come talk to
Yep.
me.
Yep.
Um,
Get them interested.
and
Ask
that's what
them.
like people would come over and um start talking, start asking questions. I had the QR code on the back too to be like, yep, she's like 5 million in debt and now she has to do a whole new trial and she has to bring in her experts again, pay her lawyers, um, and
All
all
over
that.
again.
And so yeah, like it was an opportunity that I was not going to throw away at all, seeing that it was like down the road and um it energized me again too, where I was like, yes, you know, like the holidays came, we all took our breaks, but
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, here we go again. Like,
Get back to work.
we're back on the train. We're gonna like go and do it. Yeah, and get back to work. And the trolls hated it too. Oh boy. But that's, you know what, they think it's so weird to say too, and it's so weird to think this way. But when trolls do get at you, it makes you go stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it does. Like,
Yep.
especially when, and I'll say this out loud, when they come at me and they say, "Oh, you by yourself with no friends? Oh, look at the hooker standing out there with her sign." Like I got called a hooker. And so
Wow.
I was just like,
That takes a special kind of special
because
to
they don't know me. They are saying things to hurt me, to make me stop. But for me, it's just like, I made you big mad where you're using big words like hooker. Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
It feels good to know that you struck a nerve, right?
Yeah. Hey, they're going to do it every single time. Every time that I post a picture, I know something's coming from them. I just posted something on X just right now, and it's going to piss a lot of trolls off. It's going to even piss the people that are in the video off.
Ooh,
And
can I
I'm
bring it
ready
on?
to flash. What's that?
Can I show it? Can I show it on
Oh,
here?
yes. Yes.
Okay, bear
Please
with me
do.
just a moment. Da, da,
Because,
da.
and I know this person really doesn't like me because she was the first, Carrie Lama. She was the first one
Oh, yep.
to come at me. And
Uh-oh.
what's that? Oh. Are you frozen?
Oh no.
I think I'm still here.
Okay, I'm closing the whole browser.
Oh, it's a she problem, not a me problem. Not on my end. But yeah, so I posted something. Here's the backstory. So Aiden posted that he was going to the Taunton standout. Mind you, how long have we been planning this national standout? How long have we been posting all about it? Like everywhere, doing streams about saying we're doing a national standout. How many times have people always done a standout at the Taunton Green? Am I saying it right? Taunton. But yeah, so Aiden posted saying going to the Taunton Green, and that's what he did. He was there. So many other Free Karen Reed supporters were there. Why did the other side decide that's where they were going to have their standout? Or not, yeah, standout in support of Officer John O'Keefe, which our standouts are also in support of Officer John O'Keefe. So were you planning on coming and mingling with us? Because we've always offered that. We've always said, if this is for, you know, justice for Officer John O'Keefe, come and join us, like open door. So it just didn't make any sense for them to then show up, because that's what happened. I guess it was Carrie Lama. I don't know what the girl looks like, or woman. I have no idea. But I saw on a certain page, on a social media page, that they had video. Someone actually had video of them in, I guess, Carrie's car. I don't know whose car it is. And the passenger in that car was hiding her face. And the person with the camera did like a pan around the camera, or around the car. And that's where they were. They're at the Taunton Green. Why? Were you really going to go do a standout there, guys, when you knew Aiden was going? And then it
So
was,
sorry about that.
that's fine. I just decided to keep talking. And
Please
when
do.
Kate Peter, like, she even said on X2 that, oh, I guess we're not going anymore. I guess I need to turn around. Girl, you knew Aiden was going to be there. He posted it on social media. Like, you can't go there if he's going to be there. He has an RO on you. So make it make sense. So yeah, that's what the video is. It's just, I saw it and I needed to show receipts.
So here is your Twitter. Is it the, hang on.
Oh, I go to replies.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, is it this video here?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pause it. I'm going to make it big. You guys should be able to hear it.
Got major glare. Come down.
Yeah, it's a video of a video.
Who is this?
Got major glare. Come down.
So that's why, like, you can't see it very well. It's someone's taking a video of someone's video on their phone.
Got it. So who is this again?
People are saying that the passenger might be Jen McCabe, but the person driving, they're saying, but I don't know for sure, is Carrie Lama.
Looks like her. It looks like it could be.
Yeah, and she was saying on her X, she was saying that this man was filming us. He blocked us with his car so we couldn't get out. He was yelling "Turtle Boy" at us and yelling stuff at us. And no, I don't think that happened. And he wasn't blocking you. He moved. And
yeah.
So I don't know. All I know is I saw that and needed to show truth of stories.
Yeah.
Truth of what's going on. And it also shows that they were there. Why were you there?
If you're so afraid.
Yeah. Especially Jen McCabe. She's afraid of Turtle Boy, right?
Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
Definitely a good question. But you know, all these questions do need to be asked. Even if we don't know what that video is, like we should, you know, like you did, put it out there and just ask, like, what on earth is that?
Right.
That's how we got to where we are now with Karen, you know?
Yep. These standouts have been planned for a long time. They knew that everybody was going to be at the Taunton Green, and it makes no sense that they would make theirs there at the same time too. Because in the past, whenever it is like Free Karen Reed and then the antis or Justice for Officer John O'Keefe, which we are too, it makes no sense if they call themselves that. But in the past, they've need to have state troopers be around us. Like, they do that whenever we go to the Stoughton District Court, if it has to do with like Jim Ferris or Jill. What's her last name?
Jill Daniels.
For some reason, I can never remember all these names. There's so many of them.
It's a whole web.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever they were there, they'd have state troopers because, you know, it's two sides of things. And then even at the courthouse, two sides of things. So why would you put yourself in a position where you usually have to have like state police to be there? It just, it makes no sense for them to go there. And they'll try to spin it, which I feel like they're saying that they were going to do a standout as a cover to why they were really there.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you another story. when we were at the Canton police standout on Friday, it appears that somebody was there from the other side and they took pictures of us, and they were covered in a mask, like
Hmm.
a ski mask type deal.
Oh,
They
like
took
the
pictures.
full face, like
Yeah,
with a couple holes in the eyes?
yes. And they
Interesting.
took pictures of us while they were walking away, taking it from behind them. And for what? The
Yeah.
only reason why he did that is to post it on X and be like, look what I did today. Like,
I was in the presence of the scary people.
this wasn't even involving like Karen Reed. This was for Canton. Like, what was I just didn't understand the game plan. Was it to I
Well, at
why
this point,
do
they're
why did
recognizing
you
your
waste your
faces.
day doing that? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort put into, you know, again, using what personalities over something that's about principles,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Kind of like with what you were saying about the cheeseburger thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's them not having a valid argument. And so they are looking and digging and reaching for, maybe something about your background or something about what you look like to take down your credibility,
Yep. Yep. And
which
that's the
is
other
just
thing that
so sad.
yep. That's the other thing they do, is that they have been trying to go after people's family members that have nothing to do with this at all. And that was another thing that they did to me after I wasn't going to, be scared by the attacks of my looks and or intelligence, all that stuff. Their next tactic was to then try to harm loved ones of mine, like they did. I clearly keep my family out of this.
Mhm.
My thing for me. I don't put any of their information anywhere on the internet. I don't have pictures of them when it involves um, the Karen Reed stuff. So I clearly make an effort to have some anonymity when it involves them.
Yes.
And so when they started to try and put my personal information out there and tag my loved one's work,
Ah,
my son's school, yeah, you
no.
pushed me a bit where I
Yeah.
actually did have to talk to an attorney and a private investigator.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a line drawn
yes.
for sure.
So now I know what to do if I do see it happen again. I have somebody I can call right away, and then start the process that way. Um, Not everybody has the means or the people that they know to contact to be able to do that. But if you're going to mess with my livelihood, you're going to mess with my child's
Mhm.
um, school career, you're
Safety.
going to mess with our health insurance, just like Nurse Kim has said, you're going to mess with those type of things, then there you're stepping over that line that needs to be drawn.
Yet they
all
don't.
i'm doing all I am doing is voicing something that I truly believe in and am passionate about.
Yes.
I'm not calling your work. I'm not doing any of those things. It does not give you a right to then attack people that are not even involved in this, which are my
Mhm.
loved ones that I have kept separate out of this.
Yeah.
It's
They've done
just,
nothing to them.
it's insane.
And
It's
then they don't even have the brass, most of them at least, to even use their own faces.
right. Yep. I made a post of that once before too, where I was just like, freedom of speech, I respect it. If
Mhm.
it's your face and I know who you are and you're saying these things about me, you're not going to get blocked. if it's a fake account and you're just constantly calling me a stripper, go back to the pole and make that money, um, you're gonna get blocked. Like
Sure.
it's just you're an annoying fly that just I can't keep shooing you away all the time. It's just it's obnoxious. Like it's not even like I don't want to play with you anymore. Like that's
Yes.
what else sometimes too. It's like I don't have time to play with you today. Okay. Like no, just shoo. Um, they have nothing else. Yeah. And it's people that don't have those important things in their lives either. Like you probably don't have a family that you actually truly love and respect enough to not want those type of things to happen to them. You
Mm-hmm.
probably don't have a job where you have a health insurance that it could be taken away from you. Or you probably don't have a loved one that has a job like that either, that, is an important job that, you know,
That
doesn't
puts
just
food on
help
your
us.
table.
Yeah, and it's doesn't just help us, like it's helping society. Like what my loved one job has,
Mm-hmm.
he's very important and I don't want to say exactly what he does, but
Right.
don't
I would never ask.
like
But he's contributing to the stream of life.
he's
And
contributing to society in huge ways. Like so yeah,
he's probably
it's
contributing to your life as a troll, you know. You know, he's helping them too. So it's
yeah, I
important.
have some things that I wish I could say to some people sometimes, and but I
But for
can't.
your own safety, you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a dodging game to dodge the ones that you actually like feel the need to say something to or not, and it's a pick and choose. And
Yeah, pick your battles. Put
yep.
out there what you want to say, you know, and if if any of the rest of it is costing you your peace, then it's too expensive.
Yeah. um oh god, something just left my brain. But yeah, it really upsets me when I see my friends too get attacked
Mhm.
and they try saying things that are absolutely not true either, and it's just like that hurts more because I can handle some things, but and especially if somebody is just new to X or new to this movement and they're not prepared, they didn't expect it, and it's just like, oh, like I feel for that person, and it's just like, yeah.
A
So my
hundred
advice,
percent.
like I said before, my advice, don't go on X, just stay on the justice page, watch the YouTube creators, and you'll be golden. It'll be great. Do your standouts, support where you can. Um, Instead of buying that expensive coffee that day, maybe just give that to the defense fund. Make
Yes.
your own coffee at home for a week. Um, just small things like that. And like Nathan has always said, Nathan Reed, they read the um, they read the donations like every morning. They go over
Oh,
them.
good.
So if there's a
Very
message
good.
that yeah, if there's a message that you want to get to them for that day, like just being like, hey, keep your chin up, Karen, we love you, we're supporting you. She's gonna read that. And so is her family because they check it every day. Um,
A- And then I do want to announce something else. Um, Just on Route now has a defense fund going. Here it
that's great.
is. So if you guys would like to share this, I'll put a comment on this video after we're through for a link to it. But Jen, for the longest time, did not have any kind of fund for her legal fees. So this is the page to be able to donate. givesendgo.com/just en route. I mean, very, very easy to just type in um the page, but I'll be sure to um keep posting that. I've posted it on Twitter a couple times. I'll put a comment below, but if anybody would like to help contribute toward the family of Just en route and all of their litigation fees, there's a place where you can do that now and help them out.
Yes. I'm so happy that she did that.
Me too. So, Esty, I got to meet you last week. Not everything went according to plan.
I know.
um,
I talked for so much longer. I felt
I
like
know.
but it was just like people kept coming up and like, but yeah, I felt like I could just talk to you forever.
Me too. But you so first of all, I'm already plotting my next trip in my mind. And it's going to be a longer trip. This was kind of a, I wasn't planning on going initially, and then the opportunity kind of came up. And then my flights got delayed and I ended up landing, like 4 or 5 hours later than I intended to. And then I was only going to be staying one night. I was leaving at like 5 o'clock in the morning the next day. So, I crammed in as much as I could. But one thing you did mention was something about how Bev Canone, Judge Bev Canone, is treating the Free Karen Reed supporters, which this isn't really something that people outside of Massachusetts know much about. So, can you delve in a little bit on that?
Sure. Yes. So it was Karen's last hearing.
Mm.
We all arrived. Some arrived at 6:30, but we had planned all to arrive like starting from 6:30 on. And it was so cold that day, like 19 degrees.
Oh.
Then the wind chill, like it was so
Yeah.
windy. So yeah, I think the high was 19.
Man.
So people are arriving really early. I got there around 8. And we were all lining up. So it didn't start until 9. So just being out there for like an hour as it was,
Yeah.
like it was just like, yeah, so many people were passing around those hand warmers and stuff. But around I think like 8:30 or so, the family came, Nathan and Bill and not Linda.
Kelly and yeah.
I
Janet.
don't know if Kelly was there, but Janet, the mom. Oh my God, I don't know why her name didn't come to my. You know why? It's because I have family that's Will and or Bill and Linda. So I'm like Bill and Linda. Bill
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll never get that wrong again. But so yeah, they arrived, and then Karen, or the other, the family, the O'Keefe family arrived. And then we started seeing like that Sullivan girl.
Yeah, the Sullivan
name.
sisters.
Yeah, they all started arriving, and we were like watching them just go up the stairs. We're like, okay, walk them right in. And then Carl Dougal showed up. Everybody know him. He's the
Yeah.
police officer that assaulted Karen inside the courtroom during the trial. So
Yep.
he wasn't allowed to
Give
go
her a
back.
big shoulder bump, right?
Yep. We watched him like walk right up the stairs to go in. Meanwhile, we're still standing out there freezing cold. But then we got the announcement that it was going to be in the small courtroom, the courtroom that it was during the trial. And that just turned us all the wrong way, because we were like, what? Like, why? Like, we were told it was in the large courtroom. And then it was all of a sudden, just out of the blue, it's changed to the smaller one. So that really like upset a lot of us. And they said, so yes, only 12 of you will be let in. And like, that really upset a lot of us. There was a huge big line, but we're like, okay, just 12 of us. So they told us like, okay, 5 more minutes. So we waited, and then all of a sudden someone says, Dr. Russell's on the stand right now. We're like, no, why would she be on the stand? We're not even in there yet. They said 5 more minutes. They're like, no, she's on the stand. So that's when like Chrissy and Dina ran up to the court officers and was like, it's on right now. You guys said we were getting in. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess you guys aren't getting in. And that's when like, yeah, that's when all hell just kind of broke loose, because they played games with us. They
Yeah.
played with us.
Like,
We
just tell
watched
us at the beginning, you
Yes,
know?
exactly. Like, you guys all knew we were standing out here from the first person that arrived at 6:30. You saw us out here. And it just made us feel like they were just standing there laughing at us. Like, "Oh, look at these supporters, like, huh, when do you think we should tell them that they changed it to the small courtroom? Meh, we'll just let them freeze out here for a little bit longer. We'll tell them a little bit later." Like,
We'll
that's
string them along a little
yeah,
longer, and
that's what it felt like to me. And I don't know, somebody started yelling, and then I was like, "Yeah." And so I started yelling, and I was just like, "You guys did this on purpose. Like, you guys changed it at the last minute. You know that we were out here. Like, how dare you do this to us?" And it was just like, yeah, we were all pretty upset because we watched anybody that supported the Commonwealth and the prosecutors walk right on up. It was like they took out the red carpet and was like, "Right along, go on in.
roll it
Oh,
up.
you just got here and just walked right out of your car. Okay, go on in. Don't want you to get cold at all. Don't feel that cold." So, yeah, it really infuriated us. And but luckily, Aiden had his stuff going on over at the district,
Mhm.
Dedham district. So we all just kind of went over there and supported him. I mean, we were all some of us were a bit torn with that anyways, with having to figure out like which one we would attend, but
Right.
they
So you
made
didn't
that,
have to pick who you'd go
yeah,
see.
they made that choice really easy for us. So we were a lot more entertained too. So,
Oh, I'm
um,
sure.
yes,
Um,
woo, that was some stuff for sure.
so if I may, and please, Esty, if you run out of time, like, please let me know.
Yeah,
Um,
might just have
but
like 5 more minutes to go.
okay. So I'm gonna pull up Jason Broyles's live tweeting on that.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious because we had a break after Lindsay had that question about, did you threaten somebody with murder and murder her kids? And that's when she was like, I don't believe I should answer that. Maybe I should have an attorney with me. And that's when the judge was like, all right, we'll break until we have a court appointed attorney. So we all walked out and went into the hallway. And I was like, oh, I'm curious to see what Grant's been writing, since he's been like going like this on his keyboard. That's like all you can do
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Here. So I was curious, and so I went and looked, and he was writing like the most hilariously like wrong thing, like, not, oh my god, the lies, the lies, the lies.
Yeah, some of the
So,
stuff that he seems to just pull out of his backside, it's
so
almost laughable. If it weren't sad and harmful,
yeah,
I would laugh.
yep. So I just I said, everybody listen up. I got everybody's attention in the hallway, and it was amazing. And I read all of it to everybody, and we were just like cracking up and just having the best time about it. It was just like, and that's when I was just like, all right, I gotta find this guy. I gotta find him, because I want to know who these 3 supporters were that were saying, oh, Lindsay's so smart. And you know why he wanted people to be saying that is because he's the one that coached her. He's the one that told her,
Right.
because he's in law school right now. He's been in law school for fucking ever. And so
He's
obviously,
still there.
yeah. He obviously is the one that coached him or coached her and told her what to say. So he wanted to hear, like, did I do a good job, guys? Did you like it? Praise me. But yeah,
Oh man,
I
like a
see
puppy
right
wanting
through.
to be patted on the head.
I know. So
So guys, Jason Broyles, aka not Haley Walbert, um,
yeah, he was standing
did
right next to me when I was reading it. He's like, I'm on it. And I was like, get him, Jason.
yep. He did some marvelous live tweeting. Well, not all of it was live, but he gave kind of a play-by-play
Yep.
of what happened during that hearing, and I was so impressed with it. I mean, this was riveting stuff. So if you don't know much about what happened during this hearing, definitely read up on Jason's page. But essentially, this was the hearing to determine whether the no contact order and the restraining order against Aiden on the part of Lindsay Gaetani would be stayed for another year, right? So essentially what happened was they were going over some of the old stuff that got that restraining order in the first place, and then from there they were supposed to see if anything new had popped up to, keep it kind of current, and there really wasn't. And then in the middle of that, and we have a new player in this whole shebang. Her name is Mary Bagwell, who is also somebody I met last week, and she is just a doll and a half. I have to add, like, who could talk to her that way?
I know.
I mean, just unbelievable. So Mary Bagwell now has a restraining order against Lindsay Gaetani over some pretty serious threats made to her about her and her kids. So basically what ended up being shown in that hearing is that Lindsay's not really afraid of Aiden. What's really going on here is that she, it's kind of like I have 3 dogs, right? My largest dog is an American bully. He's like 85 pounds, and he has 2 little sisters. I have an English bulldog who's 55-ish pounds, the super wrinkly kind, and then I have a little 20-pound Frenchie. Well, the middle dog, she's like a total grandma. Like, she's a grumpy old lady about half the time. She's an old soul. She loves to just kind of snooze, relax, and then the other 2 are more rambunctious. So it gets on, her name's Paisley, so it gets on Paisley's nerves a whole lot. Well, Bodie he's the big boy. He likes to kind of go and like paw at her and mess with her and kind of get her fuse really, really short, right? And get her to react in anger at him. And then he goes and runs away and comes crawling to mommy, like, "Mommy, she was mean to me." Well, you were messing with her, So that's kind of, I kept imagining this happening when I saw, or when I listened to the substance of that hearing, because I mean, it just seems so much like Gaetani was going very far out of her way to instigate a lot of this, and then turning around, "Mommy, I'm a victim. I need a restraining order because he's going to do this, that, and the other to me." But she really was the one instigating most of, if not all of it. So the restraining order is nil. And what's good about that, guys, is that now the Alberts, the McCabe's, their cronies, cannot use Lindsay Gaetani as a sword, bring her to hearings with them to keep Aiden away. Because that's what they literally had been doing. Like, she walked into a courtroom one day holding the restraining order, a courtroom where she knew that Aiden was going to be, in order to get him booted out of there. So that can't happen anymore. So yayness.
Yes.
But definitely read up on Jason's reporting of that. Well, Esty, I could probably just stay up and talk to you all night. We'll have to do like a slumber party stream sometime. Like get Kim on and Boozy or something, and we all just like chat it up.
Yes.
Girls,
like,
I've been wanting to do that forever.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it. And thank you for all that you do for Karen, for Massachusetts. You really have just been so headstrong throughout this whole thing. We all admire the bejesus out of you. And don't give up. If you ever are reaching a point where things are getting really dark, just shoot me a message. You can come to Florida and I've got a guest room ready for you. You can just come and hang out. And I'm literally across the street from the beach. So just go stick your toes in the sand and be on the shore and just forget about it for a little bit and then come back refreshed. So
You got the tail? Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, even today, like after the standout ended at 12, like everybody was asking, like, where are you going next? You're gonna go to another one? It was like, sometimes you just gotta prioritize things. Like
right.
weekends, is totally like I'd like to keep for family and
Mhm.
family things. Like my nephew had his birthday party yesterday, and today was like piano lesson stuff, and I never want to miss that. And that is the thing that everybody needs to kind of, I'm sure everybody does, but I need to remind myself that, like, um, as important as this stuff is, family is always first, and your mental health and your physical health is first.
Certainly. I mean,
Because
you
you're no
can't
good.
pour from an empty cup,
Yeah, yeah, you're
right?
no
I
good
mean,
to
what
anybody if you're not your best. And um,
precisely?
yes, so I do try to prioritize those things. But when I'm not doing those things, this is my other passion, because I truly, truly believe in it, and I truly believe in stopping corruption and having a fair judicial system,
Certainly.
that other people that don't have the means that Karen does aren't framed, and that the
Mhm.
the real murderers and people that did what other people are being framed for, that they are the ones that are held accountable for it. It
Amen.
it's happened for so many times, but it's like it's got to stop. It's
It
got to
does.
future generation,
Either
all that. And I want the future generation to see this movement so that
mm,
they, when we're
not here anymore.
prioritized with other things and can't be handling all this, like, we're gonna need them too.
Yeah.
And I like I just want to make a plug for this new YouTube mother and daughter duo. They're called Not Attorneys. No, they're called shoot. I was just on their stream at the stand at Law Girls, Not Attorneys podcast. Um,
Okay.
so they're just starting a YouTube channel. It's Amanda and Josie is the daughter, and I don't remember how old she is, but I'm thinking she's 15, 16, and she's already like so educated about all of this. And
Awesome.
for me, that just gives so much hope to the future generation of having this powerful, um, knowledgeable youngster.
Yep.
She would not like me saying that, but young lady, um, voicing her thoughts about all of this. I mean, that's what's going to help, to keep, my children, child, and nieces and nephews, like all of them. I'm gonna feel good knowing that, if they ever need to voice their opinions about things, they're gonna have a girl like Josie to be able to relate to. Um,
Yes.
so I
We
think
need more little firecrackers rising
we do, we do.
rising up.
They need to also take off their blinders too. That yes, you can believe and trust in good police officers, but sometimes you do need to question and do your research about things. So
Absolutely. Trust but verify. I mean, that's
yes,
kind of the key thing here. And even if Karen did commit this crime, which if you can rub two brain cells together and you've seen all of the evidence, then you would conclude probably that she didn't. But let's just
yeah,
say, for instance, that she did. She would still deserve to walk at this point if you have any respect for how judicial process works, due
yep,
process in the procedures of American criminal justice.
Yeah.
She has had she's had several rights infringed upon. You have all of the misconduct, conflicts of interest, incompetence, all this combined has caused plenty of other guilty people to walk. I mean, look at what might happen with Brian Walsh,
Yeah.
because of
Oh,
Proctor.
yep.
It's ridiculous. So I'm so glad to see, people like you, people like Boozy, who are just such a powerful presence
Yeah.
in
Boosie's.
in all this. And
Yeah.
like you said, I hope you know that you are giving courage and inspiring younger girls out there. Even right now, I can't name any of them, but one day some little girl is going to see what you're doing today and
Oh no.
feel feel
Make
emboldened,
me cry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Esty. I mean, it's
No,
it's
I get
it's the
emotional when it
absolute
comes to that
truth.
stuff.
Of
Yeah,
it's
because
100% the truth. And
yeah,
you're doing so much, not just for now, but like you said, for future Massachusetts, future America, future little girls.
right.
So I'm so happy to see you doing what you're doing. So you will always have, someone to stand arm in arm with, even if I'm in Florida.
Well, thank you. Yes, and thank you so much for having this platform and spreading, like, and sharing your voice, and spreading the horrific story of the frame of Karen. And yeah, I mean that's all we can really do right now.
I
It's
won't
just keep
stop.
fighting. Yep, and just keep on trucking and doing what we can. Now I'm all flabbergasted.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap everything up, but thank you again so much for being here. You were
Thank you.
welcome back anytime.
And where to find me?
Everyone here in the chat just loves you. So, and
I love
anytime
them.
you want to come on and just shoot the shit, then just shoot me a message.
All right. Thank you so much, Brett.
Of course, Esty,
Um,
it's so good talking to you. You have a wonderful night. Be
thank
safe,
you. You
and we'll
too.
talk with you soon.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you. Love your guts. All right. So, man, what an amazing human, guys. I mean, I have to say, she has done so much just by being there. And so, if you guys don't think that your presence matters, if you guys don't think that your voice matters, as Kevin from South Boston would say, you wrong. So, y'all, I really appreciate everybody who hopped on tonight. If you would like to support anybody in Massachusetts who is undergoing a ton of corruption, I will be posting the link to Karen Reed's Defense Fund, to the Just en Route litigation fund, to all of the information about Sandra Birchmore in the comments later. Please leave a comment, just letting me know that y'all were here if you're on the replay crew. If you would like to support this channel, this is a baby channel. The baby channel does have some bills. So if you would like to help keep this channel channeling, there are means and methods for doing so on the banner scrolling below. We are going to be having some more fun streams coming up. So Florida is actually getting a snow day this week in all probability. We don't have salt trucks around here. We're just not prepared for this kind of stuff. So with the bridges freezing, we might have the whole city just shutting down, or the whole front half of the state shutting down. So if that's the case and I get a couple extra days off from my full-time job, then we're going to do a really fun stream. And it's a stream that I've been alluding to for a little bit. We're going to have a duck roast. We're going to roast Gallagher. We're going to ask how the duck he still has, or had, since he's retiring now, a job. So we'll be going through his testimony. We'll be going through the processes, procedures, and steps that he took to help bring justice to Officer John O'Keefe. And that's part of a little solo series I'm doing about all the people who accumulatively are costing Officer John O'Keefe his justice. So I'm gonna shoot for Tuesday on that, but again, you know, if I'm working, I can't, but I'm gonna shoot for that day. So check back here. And if I'm here, then go ahead and hop into the Savage Patch, and we're gonna watch Gallagher. So until then, guys, I hope you all have an amazing night. Thanks so much again for being with us, and we'll see you again soon. Toodle oodle. How do I get out of here? All right. Oh, here's, by the way, this is where else to follow me.